Hello and welcome to Sunday in the She Shed. So today I'm just looking at a small hand plane that I bought at a place called Yandles yesterday. In fact, it's about 3 inches long. I've taken it to pieces actually at the moment, but there we are. It's about 3 inches long, so I'm just having a little look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten the back because it had a slight convex even, back on there. So I don't know if you can see the shiny areas where I've polished it up, so it still needs a little bit of work down the outside there, just to get that nice and flat. The blade as well, the same. So it's got a hollow just there where that little dull patch is, but that's not too bad. Cool. It also needs a little bit of flattening as well. Cool. So the way I'd like to do that is with some Scary Sharp film, which I got stuck to a piece of glass plate. This is 40 PU on here, and I'm just going to use some water and a little bit of elbow grease and a lot of time to give these a rub and get them working flat. So when you're doing any work like this, flattening, it's always best to have the plane assembled with the blade in and the lever clap tight, so it's in the position it's going to be in when you're using it. It's hard to believe that it can flex, but it's best to have it as it's going to be when you want to use it. And just get to work. Nice even pressure both sides, all the way up and down. Just give it a little turn round, just to even out my hand pressure as well. I'm just going to have a little stop, wipe it off. And keep going. It must be getting somewhere pretty close to flat, because it's actually sucking itself down to the plate now. Still some work to do, but I think I'll leave that there for the minute and have a look at the blade. So it's important to keep that blade nice and flat on the stone, not lifting it or tilting it. If we lift it, we're going to curve the underside, and then we won't get an efficient sharpen on there. See, a little bit more to go. What I'm looking for is an even scratch pattern just across the front, sort of a couple of millimeters. There's no need to do all the way up here. Okay, so hopefully you can see there, we are pretty much done. There's a tiny bit just there, so I'll just continue for a few more minutes and get rid of that, and then I'll turn this one over and give it a little go for a few minutes on the finer side, which is a 20 PU, and we should be good to test him out. So I can just get it in my honing guide here. See, I can just fit it in the honing guide here. Just a little bit careful. It's not tipping one way or the other, but that's pretty square. So I'm just going to give it a few passes. See how it does. It's pretty good. Got a nice secondary bevel coming right along the edge there. Just see it in the light there. So I can feel a burr that's been pushed back up over there, which is good. So I'm just going to turn that over, get rid of that. Yeah, I can't feel that now. Okay, time to reassemble and give it a test run. So this is a scrap piece of cherry. Not getting a full shave in just yet, but for $9.99, maybe half an hour just to clean it up. It does need more work, it's not perfectly there yet. But like I say, for $9.99, that's a great little bit of fun. So there we go, there he is, all put back together and working pretty well, not bad. So I'm going to add this one to my shelf of tiny tools, just back there, and get on with the next job for the Sunday she shed, which I think is going to be gluing together two sections for a bass guitar body, which I prepared a little while ago. So this is some alder, which I bought from an auction a couple of years ago, something like that. So yeah, these two are going to go together. So I've had a good look at the grain on both sides, and I've decided to put them together this way. There's a little bit of marking here from some weathering. It looks like it was very slightly starting to rot, but it's still quite firm, so I'm confident it'll be fine. So there's a little piece on the edge of this one and the edge of this one, so going together they look pretty good, I think. I might change my mind again, but at the moment that's where I am. So this would be the back, so let me flip those over. Okay, and this was going to be, this I think at the moment is going to be the front. I like that prettiness on the back, I think it's quite nice, quite neat. So that's, those two have got to be glued together, and then I have this fabulous piece of brown oak, which was given to me by a friend many years ago now, and I think when that's glued together that's going to be a beautiful guitar top. This is falling out up here, so I'm not going to use that bit. I could put some resin or something in there, but I don't really like that, so I'm going to go from here down. So next job for today, get the body glued up into two halves, and we'll see how we go with this one. So I've actually decided to stagger them a little bit, because I think the green matches a little bit better if I just pull that one down. So I've put a little triangle here to mark where I want it to go, and a couple of lines just here as well, so that you get a thicker section of that rotting figuring down the middle, which I think looks much more even than having it up there. where it runs out right by this section. There isn't any there. So sorry for making you dizzy. So by pulling that back a little bit, we just get a thicker bit of grain up the middle of that stripe, and I've still got enough room to cut the guitar body from here to here. So I'm not quite sure what happened with the sound on this one, but I'm just checking that the edge is dead square, so that when you join the two boards together, you've got two dead square flat edges. I'm also just using my number 7 jointer plane to smooth and flatten those two glue surfaces. The smoother and more even those two surfaces are, the more invisible your glue joint will be and the better it will look. So I'm just putting the two halves together here, just giving them a little shake to see if there's any wobble or any rock. So you want to be able to feel some friction all the way along the joint. If you get a little area where it spins, you know it's a little bit high and you need to keep on smoothing and take that area down a little bit more. So on this one I'm just sliding the two halves back across each other. I could see a little gap on the far side, so sliding one over the other, you should be able to see if the gap stays or goes, so you should be able to work out from that which piece the high spot or the unevenness is on. And just keep checking for square, to keep adjusting tiny shavings until you get where you want to be. I always think it's important to spread a nice even amount of glue on both surfaces. Just makes me feel better that I know there's a nice even spread. I think I'm putting a little bit too much on here, but yeah, a nice even spread on both surfaces is how I always go about it. So just slowly build up a light amount of pressure at a time. Just keep checking those edges are flush. They do want to slide about a little bit when you've got as much glue as I have on there. But yeah, just take your time, add the pressure slowly and evenly, keep checking they're flush at the join, and you should be good. So I think the glue up went pretty well. It's looking good on this side. I did clean some of that glue off, so it's going to need a good sanding, but it should be fine. Yeah, like I said, it's looking good on this side. I think that's about it for the Sunday she shed today. It's almost time for lunch, so I'm going to leave that to set up overnight and then hopefully catch up with you guys next week. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.